So start with pictures of how you want your life to go and how free you want it to be. Reread Walden. Reread Thoreau, Going to Walden, and why he went there. To suck the marrow out of life, to live deliberately, to be encumbered by nothing and no one. Experience that in your mind, just in your mind. Give yourself a half an hour a day to really go within and dress and act and behave and have your relationships and have your business and even your financial affairs exactly the way you want them, just in your mind first, all right? And so you start to picture that. Now that's the step. It's like, when anybody tells me they're quitting smoking but they're still smoking, but they're thinking about it, I say, great, you're on your way. You have to think about it first. The thought process is very important. So even if it takes years to think about it, picture yourself. And after a while, count on this. This is one of the secrets of the universe. It's one of the most important lessons that you can learn in life. If you think about it long enough, if you picture it, you will have to act on it because you can't act on anything else. So get the picture. Get the picture. And as you get that picture, you find yourself shedding things. And then you start practicing doing that. You get rid of some of this stuff. You don't place as much importance on it. You start realizing what's really important in your life. And you start living it that way. It's not a magic formula. It's not something that I'm able to say because I'm Wayne Dyer. It's something that I have lived from the moment that I showed up on this planet and have known that within me, I have the power to create anything I want in my mind. And whatever I create in my mind and keep there, I will have to act upon. I mean, I taught at a university for 7 years in New York, which were wonderful years. 3 of those years, I thought about not teaching at the university any longer. It took me 3 years of picturing myself not doing that at the university any longer. And it was a wonderful university and a wonderful position. I had great colleagues and great students and one of the best times of my life. But it took me 3 years of thinking about it. And now I'm in the process of, I'm writing a book about manifesting miracles in your life. I'm just starting on it now, just getting it going in my mind. And I ask myself, who am I? Who am I to write about how to create miracles in your life? What gives me the authority to be a miracle maker? And yet I've created miracles over and over and over again in my life. And I don't even know that I have the physical tools, that I have the intellectual capacity, that I have the discipline to sit down and do it again and write another book like that. I don't even know any of that. All I know is that I've got the idea in my mind. And I pictured myself doing it. And I wrote the outline, and I sent it into a publisher, and they gave me a wonderful advance, and they think it's a terrific idea. It's still all in the thought stage. There's not a page written. It's all in the thought stage, and yet I can see that book in my mind as clearly. I can tell you what color it's going to be. I can tell you pretty much how long it's all in my mind now. It may take me a year or two of just continually picturing it until Satori will arrive. And I'll walk into my office one day, and I'll sit down, and I'll start on it. Writing the outline for it was just like this for me. I was meditating on Maui, and just sitting in this meditation and asking myself, can I really and truly do this? I mean, this is the greatest undertaking of my life, to write about this sort of thing, miracle making and real magic. And all of a sudden, in my meditation came a voice, literally a voice. It said, do it. Now. Do it. And I came out of the meditation, and I was focused and clear, and I felt I was in that high sort of euphoric state that you get in. It's like drinking without booze, you know? It's like all the benefits of drugs without having to use any chemicals, without having to use any drugs. It's that wonderful, giddy, euphoric, phenomenal feeling that you can get to when you put your mind into a certain state, an alpha state. And I got out of there, and I had a pad of paper with me, and I sat down on a bench right 10 feet away from where I'd been meditating. I wrote for 3 hours. I wrote the outline. I just wrote it. It poured out of me, and I sent it into New York, and I sent it to the publishers, and they said it just seemed to flow. It just seemed so perfect. Like, that's what you do. That was like Satori. That was an instant kind of thing. It's like the hour before I started to meditate that day, I didn't know I was going to write that outline. I just allowed it all to flow. And then it's sort of like you come into grips with something called intuition. And you begin to realize that your intuition is really God talking to you. And it's something that you don't want to ignore. If you do, you'll almost always have to go through a longer period of suffering and obstacles. But if you go with that intuitive voice that says, do it, after a while you trust it, and you trust it, and you trust it, and it unfolds exactly the way it's supposed to, and all the things that come along that you think are inconsistent with it are necessary for you to go through, and you begin to view all of life that way.